The most popular operating systems, 1981-2025, the evolution of the digital world. Back in 1981, something revolutionary was born, an operating system that would quietly lay the foundation for the digital empires of the future. No one could have predicted that a few lines of code would one day rule our phones, our laptops, our workplaces, and even our pockets. This is the story of how operating systems, the invisible powerhouses behind every computer, evolved from blinking green screens to the sleek, AI-powered systems we use today. So sit back, relax, and let's travel through time, from 1981 to 2025, to witness the rise, fall, and rebirth of the most popular operating systems in history. The birth of an era, 1981 to 1985. It's 1981, and personal computers are just beginning to find their place in homes and offices. IBM, the biggest name in computing at the time, releases its IBM PC, and with it comes a tiny but mighty piece of software, MS-DOS. MS-DOS, short for Microsoft Disk Operating System, was pure text. No windows, no icons, no mouse, just a blinking cursor waiting for commands. It wasn't flashy, but it worked. It gave users a way to talk to their computers directly through code. And for Microsoft, it was the beginning of an empire. While MS-DOS ruled the early PC world, Apple was building something more visual and human-friendly. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh, introducing the world to the graphical user interface, GUI. Icons, folders, and a mouse you could actually click. Suddenly, computers weren't just for programmers anymore. They were for everyone. Apple's famous 1984 Super Bowl commercial wasn't just a marketing stunt. It was a declaration of war against the old way of computing. And from that moment, the battle between Apple and Microsoft truly began. The rise of Windows, 1985 to 1995. By 1985, Microsoft realized that the future wasn't text commands, it was graphics. They released Windows 1.0, built on top of MS-DOS. It was basic and slow, but it opened a new door. You could use a mouse, open windows, and multitask, even if it looked a bit clunky. The real revolution came with Windows 3.0 in 1990. This was the version that took over offices, schools, and homes. People could now run programs like Word and Excel in colorful windows. And because Microsoft allowed hardware manufacturers to install Windows on their PCs, it spread like wildfire. By 1995, Windows 95 arrived, and it was a game changer. It introduced the Start menu, taskbar, and plug-and-play support. For many, Windows 95 was the computer. You didn't need to understand code anymore. You could just point, click, and explore. Meanwhile, Apple struggled to keep up. Their systems were beautiful but expensive and limited to Apple hardware. Microsoft's Windows became the default choice for the world. The open source revolution, 1991 to 2000. While Apple and Microsoft were fighting for dominance, something quiet and incredibly important was happening in the background. In 1991, a Finnish student named Linus Torvalds created a free, open-source operating system called Linux. He shared it online for others to improve. And the world of computing changed forever. Linux didn't look pretty, but it was stable, powerful, and free. It became the backbone of servers, the internet, and eventually, our smartphones. While Windows ruled the desktop world, Linux ruled the internet. Every website you visited, every email you sent, somewhere in the background, Linux was running the show. By the end of the 90s, we had three pillars of modern computing. Windows for the everyday user, Mac OS for the creative professionals, Linux for the developers, and the web. The stage was set for the 21st century, the millennium shift, 2000 to 2010. The new millennium brought excitement and chaos. Windows 2000 and Windows XP became icons of early computing. XP especially was beloved. Its blue and green interface defined an entire generation. It was reliable, fast, and easy to use. Apple, on the other hand, was reinventing itself. Under Steve Jobs, Apple launched Mac OS X in 2001, combining beauty with power. Smooth animations, sleek icons, and Unix-based stability made it a dream for designers, musicians, and filmmakers. And then came 2007, the year everything changed. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." The iPhone introduced iOS, a brand new operating system designed for touch. No keyboard, no stylus, just your fingers. A year later, Google entered the scene with Android, an open-source mobile OS built on Linux. The mobile revolution had begun, and it would reshape the digital world forever. The mobile explosion, 2010 to 2020. The 2010s were all about mobility. Desktops were no longer the center of our digital lives. Smartphones were. Android quickly dominated the market because it was open, customizable, and available on almost every brand: Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, and countless others. Meanwhile, iOS kept its premium, smooth, and secure reputation, powering the iPhone, iPad, and even the Apple Watch. But something interesting happened. People started using their phones more than their computers. Operating systems had to evolve. They became more connected, more intelligent, and more human. Windows 10, released in 2015, tried to bridge the gap, uniting desktops, tablets, and mobile under one interface. At the same time, Linux distributions like Ubuntu became user-friendly enough for everyday use, attracting tech enthusiasts worldwide. By the late 2010s, macOS became synonymous with elegance and creative power. Its ecosystem, from iPhones to MacBooks, created a seamless experience. Each OS had found its role. Windows, work and gaming macOS, creativity and productivity, Linux, freedom and customization, Android iOS, the digital lifestyle, the AI era, 2020 to 2025. The 2020s changed everything again. Suddenly, our devices weren't just tools, they were thinking companions. Operating systems started integrating AI at their core. Voice assistants like Siri, Google Assistant, and Cortana evolved from basic helpers into intelligent agents capable of managing tasks, generating content, and learning user behavior. Windows 11 brought a sleek, minimal design and deep cloud integration, blending productivity with aesthetics. macOS Ventura and Sonoma introduced tighter synergy between hardware and software, giving users buttery smooth performance. Linux remained the quiet powerhouse behind the world's servers, supercomputers, and cybersecurity systems. Meanwhile, Android and iOS continued their arms race in AI-driven photography, on-device intelligence, and privacy protection. By 2025, operating systems aren't just about managing hardware anymore, they manage experiences. They adapt to users in real time, syncing across devices, predicting needs, and even generating creative content. We've gone from typing commands in a black window to speaking to an AI that writes essays, composes music, and edits videos, all from the palm of our hands. The future of operating systems. Beyond 2025. So, what's next? We're moving toward a future where the line between hardware and software will blur completely. Imagine a world where your operating system isn't tied to one device. You could start editing a video on your phone, continue it on your laptop, and finish it in your AR glasses, seamlessly. Operating systems will become personal ecosystems, powered by AI, cloud computing, and neural interfaces. They'll know what you want before you even open your mouth. They'll adjust your environment, lighting, temperature, and digital workspace based on your habits. We might even see quantum operating systems in the coming decades, built to control the unimaginable power of quantum computers. And who knows? One day, operating systems might evolve beyond screens and keyboards, becoming something we simply think into existence. From DOS to dreams. From a blinking cursor in 1981 to intelligent assistants in 2025, it has been a journey of imagination, competition, and evolution. MS-DOS taught us control. Windows taught us accessibility, Mac OS taught us beauty, Linux taught us freedom, and Android and iOS taught us mobility. Each operating system didn't just change technology, it changed how we think, work, and connect. Every click, every swipe, every boot-up sound, it is all part of a story that began more than 40 years ago. The story of operating systems is really the story of us. Our endless curiosity, our hunger to create, and our dream to make machines not just powerful, but personal. And as we stand in 2025, surrounded by smart devices and intelligent systems, one thing is certain. The evolution isn't over, it's only just beginning.